Christmas Eve, everybody. I'm not wearing my traditional black. I am wearing red for Christmas, but it's The Last of Us, so it's still creepy zombie end of the earth. You're gonna freaking die in a very terrible way t-shirt. So it works. Okay, but anyway, what I'm gonna do today, because we're kind of busy, I make cat toys for my brother-in-law's cat. So I just want to show you real quick how I make a cat toy. I'm not a very good sewer, but they work, they hold together, and the cats love playing with them. So stick around and watch me. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of felt and we're just going to fold it over. From that folded over edge, we're going to cut a half circle, almost like a heart, but without the little thing on the inside, and that's what you're going to end up with, like a little pear-shaped thing. Then we're going to fold it in half. That's the shape, the whole body of your mouse. Now we're going to take DMC floss. That's my favorite. Get 2 strands. DMC floss comes in 6 strands. So you want to separate it and make sure you've got 2. So what we're going to do is knot the end of the DMC floss. Put a good knot in it. Sometimes I have problems doing that. I'm not a very good knotter. And then you're going to go from what will be the inside, fold it so that you can see. Get you a button. Find out which button you want to use for the eyes. This time I've selected green. Doesn't matter if it's 2-hole or 4-hole. Okay. Fold it again. Hold it tight, kind of pinch it tight with your fingers. Now go from what will be the inside because you don't want the knotted part on the outside of the mouse. And then we're going to go ahead and thread this through one of the buttons, if I can. Pull that through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the body of the mouse and sew the button on the other side. We're going to do both eyes with one thread. That makes it a little bit tougher for the cats to pull them apart, I think. It seemed to work well for me in the past. So we're just going to go through and we're going to knot it, put a few passes in it. And then we'll have to knot it down on the inside. And the knotting is what I'm just really not good at, but apparently my knots hold. So whatever I do does seem to be working somehow. Okay, so now I'm putting the needle and I'm going to bring it up through the middle of the inside so that I can knot it in here. Make sure you don't stick your finger. Slippery little mouse. And then while I'm in there, this is what I'm going to use for my tail. I use a length of ribbon. And I stick it all the way up by the eyes, or behind the eyes. I forgot, sometimes you can sometimes I'll attach it to the nose. Now you see the angle? Make sure you cut your ribbon at an angle, and it needs to be thin ribbon. You'll see why at the end. So I'm going to take the same piece of string, and I'm going to put this up here. And then we're going to do a couple anchoring stitches. So we're going to go from the inside, and we're going to go to the bottom. We're going to go through into the bottom, and then back up through, and that will make sure that the stitches are hidden. The reason why I anchor the tail right here is because it gives it 2 anchor points, because the end of the tail that's poking out of the body will also be sewn into the body. But anchoring it so far inside of the body ensures that the cats can tug and tug and tug and play with it and not pull the tail out. I have never had one pull the tail out using this method. And then I'm going to try to knot it, which I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was out of the camera from that point. Okay, so now we're going to get another piece of felt, and we're just going to fold it over. You don't need a big area. And again, on the folded side, start cutting. And we're going to do kind of a little circle, but the end part can be flat. It's okay. You can do a real circle. I can't do real circles. Whatever. It's not my forte. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you open it. And I guess you could kind of sort of try to attach it that way if you want to, but as you see, it doesn't really work. So we cut it in half to make two separate ears. Now, what we're going to do, oh shoot, I hope that you can see. I was trying to show you, I didn't realize it wasn't on camera. Pinch the bottom of it in half. See how it makes that little fold? And then, again, put it where you want to on the mouse. I'm so sorry that you can't see this very well. And then start from the inside. Oh no, do I do this whole thing where you can't see it? Oh, I feel so bad. I'm sorry, y'all. This is what happens when you can't see what you're filming. Oh, dang. So we're going to do kind of like we did with the eyes. And we're going to use the same string to sew both ears down. That way they line up. Well, maybe you can see the shadow because apparently you can't see what I'm doing. This is aggravating. Fun vlog, huh? But this is what they kind of look like, if you can see them. Okay, now, oh my gosh, did I sew this whole thing off camera? Please don't tell me I sewed this whole thing off camera. I need a camera with a flip around screen so I can see what I'm doing. I think I was knotting it right here. Yeah, I was just doing a knot. And ouch, that sucked. And then I pull it through. We're going to finish knotting that. Okay, so now I've gotten a longer piece of thread, and I'm going to start from the inside on the nose. Make sure you start them from the inside and come out. Now, I'm going to give you fair warning. Every year, I forget how to blanket stitch. It's very easy, but for me, it is the opposite of riding a bicycle. I always forget. So, my stitching will not look good for a while. Now, you could do a straight stitch, and that would hold it just fine. The reason why I choose a blanket stitch, though, is because the tacking down the side will act like a straight stitch, basically holding it all together, but then the piece that goes on the top kind of fills in that seam, since we're using a folded piece of material instead of sewing two pieces of material together, if that makes any sense. If you know how to sew, you know what I mean. But usually it takes me about half a mouse to remember how to blanket stitch correctly, and this mouse was absolutely no exception. And I thought that I was a little bit closer to the camera, so I apologize if you can't see the mouse very well. Now, I guess I should teach you how to do a blanket stitch, but I'm honestly so bad at it that maybe you should look at a Google tutorial, or better yet, a YouTube tutorial from someone that knows what they're doing, because try though I will, it just does not seem to look very straight. But the good thing about these are they're cat toys. And so far, I have had 0 complaints from the feline department. They don't care how it's sewed. They just know that it smells really good and it makes them feel kind of funny. It makes them all happy. Happy kitty. Happy kitty. Yeah, I'm losing it. It's Christmas Eve and I'm trying to get this done because I'm a horrid procrastinator. I was going to do this earlier in the week, but what did I do? I sat on the couch because I was freezing all week, and now I just had dinner outside on the backyard because it is so warm out here. So anyway, but I digress. Back to the mouse. So we're continuing the blanket stitch along the back end. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit now. Okay, now it's time to stuff. You don't want to go too far. You want to leave yourself a big enough hole so that you can stuff things. Yeah, I'm filthy and immature. Thanks, Mike Judge. So I'm going to take a little bit of stuffing, and I always poke stuffing down in the nose first instead of filling the whole body with catnip. The reason why is because catnip is small, and if there's any unclosed part in the tip of the nose, that will keep the catnip from falling out of the nose. So take a pin and poke, 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 twist, 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 get it down in there. And now once the nose is filled, we're going to take our catnip, and I guess about 2/3 of this mice will actually be catnip. Poke it down in there. Ooh, static. Sticking to the pencil. There we go. Another pinch. Never hurts. A little extra green. Poke, poke, poke. Get it in there. Get in there. You know you like it. You know you like it. There you go. Okay, and that's enough. I'm weird. Okay, and so now I'm going to get another piece of fiber fill. This is like that polyfill stuff you make stuffed animals and pillows with. And I'm just going to poke a little bit more. And this is to protect my butt seams, basically. And that way, if the kitty does start unraveling the rear end, the catnip's not going to spill out first thing. And then we're going to finish sewing it up. If I can get my needle straight. There we go. So we're going to finish blanket stitching all the way down. See, I've just now gotten the hang of the blanket stitching, and if you notice, the first part of the mouse from the ears forward is super horrid, and from the ears back I had got my blanket technique. I tell you, I forget how to do this every year, and it just takes me like a mouse or two to really get into the swing of it. I just always mess up really by the nose, really bad. But you see what I'm talking about? Like the thread goes down the center of the back along that seam, so it's sewn together side to side, but it's also like sewn together on the top on that seam, so it gives it just an extra seal to protect the cat from being able to get the stuffing and catnip out. And then I blanket stitch down to the tail, and it's kind of hard to do a blanket stitch when you have a ribbon getting in the way. So once I get to the tail, I just do some straight in and out stitches through the ribbon really tight, and that is your second anchor for the tail. And it doesn't look fancy, but I'm telling you guys, it works. The cats that I have made it for play with these things hardcore. I make them one every Christmas, and they need one by every Christmas, but I think that they've never just torn one up. But usually they'll pull a little bit of stuffing out or something towards the end of the year, so they last almost a year with hard play. So I think that's pretty good for a little felt mouse. I mean, we all know that you can get felt like 4 pieces for $1 at Hobby Lobby or whatever, 4 sheets for $1. You can make a lot of mice for really stupid cheap. DMC floss is cheap, the ribbon's cheap, buttons are cheap, so these are really cool little toys you can do if you have any friends or family, or you yourself have a kitty. Now I'm just making extra sure that tail is going to be knotted in there good. Okay, so I'm finishing up this, and then you want to take the needle and run it through the body, and then pull it tight. And then cut the thread off close, and the end of the thread disappears into the body, and that way you have no end of the thread knotty crap hanging out for Kitty to get and pull apart. Now here comes the fun part. You're going to take a little jingle bell, And see how I made that? I told you to cut the ribbon at an angle. It's to make it easy to fold and stick through the jingle bell thing. And of course, since I'm telling you this, it's going to be a butt. And so I had to lick it and cut it again because I was teaching you how to, it's mechanic syndrome, you know what I mean. So we're pushing it through. Pull it, pull it. There we go. And then we're just going to take that little piece and we're going to knot it. Pull it very, very tight against the jingle bell. I like this metallic ribbon. It seems to tighten up and hold really well. I don't know how a satin ribbon would really do, but there you have it. This is my mouse. Oh, focus, focus, focus. There's my mouse. Oh, his little ear. I think his little ear went stupid on me. Poor little ear. Okay, yeah, bad stitching at the eyes, but hey, there's your little mouse. There's your little jingle bell tail. Yay! Happy kitties everywhere. Thanks y'all for sticking around and watching me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So it was quick, but I hope you all have a very, very good Christmas. I hope you make out like a bandit. No, really, get out there, have fun, love your family, even though they're crazy. Bye.